Thank you for choosing a Marshland Media podcast. If you enjoy what you hear, give us a 5-star rating and review on your podcast app, share with a friend, and head over to mlmpod.com to find out about all the other podcasts the network has to offer. Thank you again, and now, on to the show. Welcome in to the first episode of, no shit, it was a welcome all to the first episode of Deth to Squids. The only podcast on the Marshland Media Network that both people are stoned.
Do a little dance.
We're going to get, oh yeah, do it, bitch. Ooh. Damn, you're good at dancing. It's me, James Marshland Monster, and I'm with the co-host with the toast.
It's Hose B. Jose, what's up, guys? I'm happy to be here.
That toast is you make such a good cinnamon toast that it gives people orgasms.
I thought you were going in on the bit that Corey loves my toes.
Oh no.
Do you not know about that bit?
No, I've heard of it. I've heard of feet loving Corey. Hell yeah, brother. But it's also the only show discussing Trancers. Yes,
baby.
We're getting right into it because this cannot meander. Okay, Jose, what is your experience? I know you've never seen Trancers. It's one of my favorite series, and I'm so excited to watch all of it and have an excuse to get the full moon feature subscription when we do 5 and 6. Or no, 4 and 5, because they recently released them in like a beautiful remaster like this.
Oh,
so
yeah?
At least it will look beautiful while we're being bored, because the fourth or fifth one I could not get through because, but also because it looked like shit, the picture quality.
Yeah.
So I've just been waiting for them to remaster it to be like, maybe the picture is throwing me off so much that's why I don't like it.
I get what you mean. Yeah. This, however, was a blast.
Yes,
This was actually a lot of fun. I was holding this for the podcast. I really enjoyed this movie.
Yes. It rips so hard. I just watched this on a whim. This is, it's a surprise Nicole was in there with us.
Upset.
Actually, you want to know what? It's because that's where the AC is. And it was 100 and some today.
Oh yeah, it's a little muggy today.
But Nicole, this is a movie series that Nicole's like, watch this when I'm not home. And it's weird because right from the beginning, she's like, whatever Trancers is, I want none of it. Before I probably just watched the trailer and said, this is for me.
Yeah, no, didn't we watch that after the last podcast we did? The trailer for Trancers?
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, we watched that, and I think I remember Nicole being like, I don't want to be a part of this, because you were so excited. You're like, finally, I have somebody to watch Trancers with.
It's so good, and I wanted to do this for This Existed, but there's 6 movies in the batch. If it was just the first 3, I'd be like, well, that's a nice trilogy. We can do that in a month plus another podcast, but because this has 6, there's no real way to break it up.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I don't know. I don't think I know any movies or like I'm a fan of. Oh well, Harry Potter, I guess, but not really.
I was just with a bunch of movies.
Yeah, a bunch of movies.
Okay, you didn't finish that thought.
Sorry, no, I was trying to think of any other
Star Wars?
series. Star Wars, but Star Wars is different because I think
it's like 3 different stories.
Each trilogy stands alone as its own story. Even though they're connected.
I would feel like if you went into the sequel series, you'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. I didn't really. Yeah, you know what? Let's move on for that. But no, I was trying to think of any other movies that I've seen that I don't think I've kept up with a lot of the movies that are like, oh, we have 7 movies. This is the 7th movie. Because like, Tremors, I was super into Tremors when it first came out, the first one, and then they would not stop making them.
Yeah, it's like there are maybe 12 Children of the Corn movies. There's like a lot. And Eva Mendes was in one, and it's called like, oh, fudge, I wish I knew, like, say, I think it's like harvest time. And I was like, Corn Kids 5, harvest time. She's like, what the fuck is Corn Kids? I was like, oh, that's what they call Children of the Corn on with Gorley and Russ. And she's like, oh, yeah, don't say that ever again.
I think that's a much better name than Children of the Corn.
It's to the point.
Yeah, Corn Kids.
Corn Kids, you
They're just
know
corn kids.
who they are immediately.
Where are they? In the corn.
What if it was Corn Children?
But then we're just, no.
I know it's easier to say Corn Kids,
but that's the point. We're shortening it.
But also when you say Corn Children, I'm spelling corn correctly, but with Corn Kids, it's with a K. Because I'm like, that seems more hardcore, like new metal.
Corn Kids.
Yeah, of course you spell it with a K and then a C for kids, so it looks like Corn Sid.
Corn Sid.
Oh, I love Corn Sid in Final Fantasy 1 through 16.
Oh, no. Now I'm thinking of just like the movie Children of the Corn, but the kids that are evil are replaced with miniature versions of the band members of Corn.
Okay. Like in South Park. Weren't they? Yeah, they were on the Halloween episode one
Were
year.
they?
Yeah.
There's been so many of them.
So many Halloween or so many Corn.
Yes.
Man, Corn, like, they're not even the same band anymore. They've gone through 7 transition periods.
I actually not a big fan of Corn, to be quite honest with you.
I couldn't name a single song of their shit.
Yeah, same.
I was gonna say wow, but I'm like, no, that's Disturbed. I was gonna be like woota bop bang bang, and I was like, no, I think that's Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, that is. Corn is the one that goes boom chicka boom or some weird
That's
bullshit.
Pornography, dude.
That's Corn.
No, Corn's new metal.
Yeah, but I don't know how. It's weird.
But they also do pornographic tunes.
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it.
Beastie Boys on some of their instrumental albums, it's like, this is just pornography music, guys, from the 70s. I don't think you know this. I had Sounds of Science. It was an anthology, and I had never listened to their instrumental albums. I knew them from their rap albums, and then this.
Okay.
Like, I felt like naughty for listening to some of the instrumentals because I was in 5th grade. I was like, I know this is pornography music. Oh,
just
man.
in class, like, ooh, am I going to get in trouble for listening to this?
I need 2 burnable discs because I don't want to bring this CD in case you guys take away the pornography music. Then I won't be able to listen to their song Alive from Hello Nasty.
Oh, no.
All right. Trancers. Would you like... God, these are so many notes. Why'd I do this? No!
I have a couple notes. Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
This is for Sam and Max Hit the Road.
Where's...
Okay, thank God. I was like, I remember it not being that big a font or that small a font. Thank Christ. Okay. Trancers, released on video by Empire Pictures, May 22nd, 1985. It did have an UK release in 84. I don't know the specific date, though. Trancers is the first in the long-running Charles Band-produced franchise. Real quick info on Charles Band, who is widely recognized as a titan of indie filmmaking, up there with the likes of Roger Corman and Lloyd Kaufman. Band founded Empire Pictures in 1983 as the means to distribute the films he produced, cutting out the middleman of other distributors who he felt did a poor job of doing their job, which was film distribution. Empire saw a lot of commercial success in the likes of Reanimator, Troll, From Beyond, and the box office smash. This isn't hyperbole. Look up its box office numbers in relation to its budget. That was Ghoulies 1. At its height, Empire would release... on the height of horror, I always bring up how much I love Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go to College. And Presley's like, I still don't believe that's a real movie. So now we're going...
sounds fake.
It does sound fake. It sounds like something The Simpsons would do. But no, it rocks. It's so good. At its height, Empire would release an average of 2 films a month, 1 theatrically and 1 on home video. However, due to financial issues in the mid-'80s, Empire folded and band formed Full Moon features a titan still to this day in indie films that focuses on fantasy horror straight to video movies. I saw an interview, like it was Lloyd Kaufman, and he was at a convention and was like saying hey to Charles Band because they both like came to prominence because of the home video market, where it's like you could put out any movie and rental places would take it as long as it like had a captivating box art and title.
Okay.
So like they're friendly to each other, and Charles is like complimenting him, and they're like going back and forth. And I think Lloyd Kaufman was like, see how he looks and see how I look. That's how you know which one of us is a millionaire. And that is Charles Band just like did so well during this period.
Okay.
We'll discuss more of Full Moon next week because starting with Trancers 2, the franchise will live and breathe within the light of the full moon. So we're just focusing on the movie, and like I wanted to give a little bit of Empire picture stuff, but we'll go more into Full Moon later.
Hey.
Trancer's first entry was scribed by writing duo Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo, who would go on to write the 1990s The Flash series for Warner Brothers, the Rocketeer movie, and a lot of video games in the 007 Red Faction franchise and more. They've jettisoned
Wait, the
from
Red
Trancers.
Faction?
Red Faction Origins was the specific one that they wrote.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really...
Still awesome.
Yeah. And one of them wrote like Death Siders or something. Some big games. We'll get into Tim Thomerson, who played Jack Deth in another episode, because that man is a character and his stand-up is wild. This wall looks like it's deep.
Oh.
I'm scared. Because of how the light's hitting the foam, the sound dampeners,
the little
shadow,
crevices.
the crevices make it look like it's a wall going backwards from my periffs. It's not good.
Freaking you out a little bit.
Oh, yes, it is. We also have beautiful lighting right now. It's like neon pinkish. A very bright neon pink.
Yeah, it's like setting the tone for the 80s film we just watched.
Yeah, I wish I had the remote to be able to change it to a different color. Wait, I think I see it. Jose, read my last notes. I'm kidding, but I guess
I'll say who's in this movie, though.
Okay, hell yeah.
Other than the character you just said, there is also Helen Hunt, which really threw me for a loop. I was super excited to see Helen Hunt in this movie, and also Gwen Stefani's dad is in this. I don't know. It's not really, but they have the same name. So I just said that as Gwen Stefani's dad. Who else was in this movie? The guy that plays McNulty has been in a lot of things, but I can't think of what he's been in right now.
I couldn't find the remote.
It's all good.
This appears to be Helen Hunt's first starring role in a non-made-for-TV movie, which she would then follow this with 1985's Girls Just Want to Have Fun. If you haven't seen that movie, it's shot in Chicago in 1985. It's so fucking good.
I have to watch it then. I haven't seen it.
Also, Sarah Jessica Parker and, Shannon Doherty are in it.
Okay. I'll definitely check it out.
Like as teens. And Leonard from Community is in this as one of the three wise men.
So the guy I'm thinking of is Art LaFleur, and I believe he was in MASH.
Okay, I believe it.
Yeah, I know he's been in a lot of things. If you look him up, you'll definitely know who this person is.
I'd like to look him up and down.
Yeah, he was in MASH. He was the MP.
Okay, hell yeah. All right, I have a quick plot summary.
Go ahead.
A gruff bounty hunter travels back in time to the 1980s Los Angeles to stop a twisted criminal who can transform people into zombie-like creatures called Trancers.
That's pretty quick synopsis. Yeah, it was pretty.
Synopsis. I got it from IMDb. Thank you, IMDb. No one was credited with the synopsis on that one, so sorry.
Oh, man.
I would have notated it if I did.
What was one of your favorite moments in this?
I love the sets. It's like I wrote down, "This is filmmaking, baby." In the beginning, just that glow of the grain on neon. If you want a modern day movie like just completely, if you love neon lights and horror movies, it's a jack off sesh. It's a Christmas Bloody Christmas or Bloody Christmas. Christmas Bloody Christmas. It's on Shudder. It's so good. The plot is bad. And the acting, the improvising, there's so many fuck words in it. I think it has like 500 and some, and it's a short movie. That part's bad, but the visuals are so good.
Okay, I'll check it out.
And the kills are good too.
Oh, okay. The lighting was great. I will say, like, throughout the movie, they try to wherever they position the camera throughout. Always had some perfect backlighting drop, just a perfect backdrop in the back. And it just kept you engaged through it the whole time.
That's what you get when Charles Band is directing.
I don't know anything about Charles Band.
I just told you.
I'm just saying.
He also, like, the Puppet Master series, he's behind that. We'll get more into him because Full Moon Features and Empire launched a lot of careers for especially directors, just like Trauma did with like James Gunn.
Okay.
We'll get into more of the stuff he's done because he's great.
So I had something I wanted to say. Either Trancers are really easily to be killed or Jack's just a really good shot.
Yeah, he's I think just good.
Because like in the beginning of the movie, like right where it starts in the parking lot of a diner called Mom's Number 3.
Which I usually go to Ruth's Chris number 3.
What?
Yeah, do you know Ruth's Chris Steakhouse?
No, I don't know.
That's a real restaurant.
Oh, yeah?
And because Ruth bought Chris, it used to be called Chris's Steakhouse, and Ruth bought it, and then she just was like, well, this is Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Chris.
And this feels a lot like there will be some diners like in Michigan. You have Coney Island, and because it like fractured off, one of them franchises, and when it fractured off, it was two brothers, and they got into a disagreement. So the other one built another Coney Island or Coney Land. I forget what it's called. It's one of the two. Put one on the other side of the street, like right across from it, and just like named it like if his name was Martin, Martin's Coney Island. So when there are franchises of it, it has like possessive Coney Island.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's really cool because then they're ran all differently. There are wild differences of like, no, this one's better than this one, or Lissa Sear would always be like, okay, well, I really like this Coney Island, but this Coney Island's cheese fries are so good because they use nacho cheese, opposed to the other Coney Island that I like everything else at, but they use like shredded cheese and it just doesn't melt as well. This is a memory it just lives rent free in my mind. Whenever I see chili cheese fries, that's what I think.
Okay. Yeah, no, I feel that. So he goes to check the identification of the guy sitting at the diner.
Yeah.
Right?
And he's like, you can't do a TSE, a Trancer something inspection without a warrant. And then he says, here's your warrant. Jack Deth does.
Pulls out his gun.
Yeah.
Just pulls it. He's like, oh, I don't want any problems. I have nothing to hide.
When we're high, we think this shit's cool.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's why we watch this.
Also, like this is the future age man, you know?
Oh yeah, 100%. There's some weird things about Jack, but we'll get
okay, all right.
We'll get into it.
Weird as in he makes you feel weird in the inside?
Weird as in like, I don't know, definitely somebody trying to be cool.
Oh yeah. Well, so you know Derms Clerman from Hit It and Crit It.
Yeah.
Derms Clerman is really just like Sam and Max and Jack Deth mashed together. That's what they are. No. Those are where I pull inspiration from. This wall is back looking deep. Holy Christmas.
Holy Chrysler.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, that's another
Holy
thing.
shit,
Wait,
this is a Christmas movie.
That's another thing about this.
Oh, God, I love this fucking movie.
Yeah, the whole time. It turns out this is a Christmas movie because it takes place on December 24th.
Yeah.
Because he has to drop off his girlfriend, Helen Hunt,
Yes.
at work, and she's one of Santa's helpers.
Oh my God. Well, hold on. Let's go. I still have stuff from the beginning.
You're good. I can jump in.
The diner scene is it. Like, this is how you do sci-fi, sci-fi scenery on a budget of all you really need is some normal of today devices with some tubes on it to make it look futuristic. Then the lighting needs to be like a different lighting. It doesn't need to be neon, just a non-traditional, like white overhead lighting that we have today. Put in a little bit of fog and you have a perfect sci-fi area.
Yeah, it was great. The minute he got into the diner, I was like, man, I only want to go back in time just to go to diners like the old 50s diners,
Yeah, where you can get a serving of tub of lard with lantern on top
of it.
That was like, I think, a Halloween lantern of like kids dancing in the pale moonlight.
Which didn't make any sense because it takes place, like, when they're in the future, it takes place in, like, July.
It's just an all-the-time thing.
They're just celebrating Halloween all the time.
Uh-huh. Yeah, like those freaks with tattoos, am I right?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Freaks with tattoos?
Uh-huh. They're always like, oh, I'm celebrating Halloween all the time. Because look at my costume.
I feel like you're attacking me.
But that's also what I think about the corporate fuckers on Wall Street. That's their costume, brother. They're conformists just like we all are.
Or, instead of being conformists,
yeah,
they're just dumb.
Okay. I just realized it's a narwhal, guys. That's from another podcast that I recorded today, but I couldn't pronounce narwhal.
I thought it was narwhal.
Oh shit! I was saying it like Nardwal, and I was like, wait,
Nardwal?
Yeah, I was like, no, that's not his name, but a narwhal.
Narwhal.
Okay, oh dang, that looked like the ring girl for a second. Shit. Okay, James, focus.
We can do this, James. We can do this.
Because I have clothes hanging up, and then it's white right there. So in my eye, it looks like the ring girl.
We can do this.
Oh, Sadako, please don't harm me tonight. I would have put on your plays.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, no. Before she died, she was an actress. Watch the Ring series, Ring 1, 2, and 0. So good.
Never seen them.
All right, so then we find out that Jack Deth, he like threw away his badge because someone was coming up and being like, hey, you're being summoned. And then we find out that all cops are good until their wife is killed by a Trancer. Here's a good cop.
Here's a good cop.
This is I've never seen Blade Runner, but this feels Blade Runner.
Very Blade Runner.
All right, baby.
Yeah.
Then he's at the beach?
He's at the beach, which I thought was New York.
No, he's in Vegas. I mean, Los Angeles.
Yeah, so I thought it was like New York, but it's Los Angeles underwater.
Yeah.
And it's for a good reason.
What was a good reason?
Not a good reason. Like, it's a reason that a lot of people have thought might be the reason why it would fall into the water. Massive earthquake.
Yeah.
They called it the Great Quake.
Mm-hmm.
That sunk Los Angeles.
In 80s science fiction, I love seeing depictions of post the big one. One of my favorites is Marshal Law. It's a comic book series. It's so good about if in Vietnam, instead, like they were testing a super soldier serum and it actually worked, it created superheroes. But then we see these now, it's these superheroes with PTSD. And then a lot of them go crazy, just like when your mind is fucked up, then the government kind of just poo-poos you and throws you away. Think of what that does to your mind, but then you have uncontrollable superpowers as well. So they go on these rampages after the big, this is after the big one hit. So it's like Neo San Francisco or New San Francisco, I think.
San Francisco.
And you see this former soldier, he goes by Marshal Law, having to deal with all of this and knowing that the government is corrupt because it literally like was a conspiracy towards him and his friends, but also being like, well, just because they fucked up doesn't mean I can allow their fuck up to happen because like that is the individual I am. It's so good.
I have to read it now. Sounds really interesting. We've been playing a superhero campaign, and I'm playing a teleporter, but that seems awesome. Like that story, like the concept behind that sounds awesome. Because like I like things like The Boys too. You know, like where
when Nicole was watching The Boys, and like I was like, you can watch that on your own. But as it was playing, I was like, this is so. This feels like a ripoff
of Marshall's Law. Marshal Law.
Whereas like Marshal Law is like it's post-apocalyptic and like the look is completely different, but the government agencies and like all of that being responsible for this is so, and like someone being like, well, I need to handle this. But Marshal Law is also great because they somehow snagged a crossover with The Mask, where the main villain, and I think it's canonical, the main villain you thought was dead ends up being alive. They've kept him in stasis, and they were like, hey, we can create the next soldier if we put this mask on him. And then it's like, it's so good.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to read this. It's Marshal Law?
Yeah, I have the full book.
Oh, shit.
If you want to borrow it.
Yeah.
All right, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
All right. So, like, the people come up on the beach, and they're like, you now have a request from the council. You can't say no. They need you, Jack Deth. And he goes, fuck them. And whenever anyone says someone else needs them, just say fuck them, regardless.
100. It's the go-to.
Like, hey, mom needs you to come over and take out the trash for her this week. Fuck them. The doctor needs you to pee in this cup. Fuck them.
The old lady needs you to hold the door.
Fuck them. This child needs you to get off from them. Fuck them.
Whoa.
I was sorry. In my head, I was like, because you ran over them with a scooter. Oh, hey.
No context for that.
Yeah. Well, hey, in my mind, I was like, I'm popping a wheelie on this kid. Or just like sitting on their chest, and they're like, I get it. You're stronger than me.
Oh, no. He says, the council needs you. Fuck him. But it's the highest honor, Jack.
But he reluctantly goes, and this set is great.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry for no context earlier, guys.
We are a little high.
Oh,
well, I'm a little high. James is.
You're living your lifestyle.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
The set's beautiful.
The set, so they walk into like a Superman's Fortress of Solitude mixed with the Phantom Zone from Superman 2.
Yeah.
Almost, and it's two people, which the council is originally 3, but a seat is empty.
Yeah, because Wessler's still alive, the man who created all the Trancers, but he went down the line, which means he went back in time to ancestors. That's how they do this in this Trancers, which is cool. Instead of traveling back in time and end up being like, oh, well, what if I meet myself or whatever? They take that out where you go back in time by inhabiting the consciousness of a relative.
Yeah.
An ancestor. Yeah. And that's so cool. So, well, Jack, before knowing he did that, was like, hey, you'll be fine. He won't be able to come in here and kill you. This place is a fortress. And the woman responds, might as well be made of paper. And I was like, that's so good.
That's such a baller line, yeah.
And that's because he went down the line back in time and killed one of the council's ancestors and is planning to do that for all 3.
Honestly, Whistler's pretty annoying, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
He's like really annoying.
The actor, though, pulls off Creepazoid so well.
100%. Yeah, it's almost like NPC meets I don't know if you remember Joe's character Pants.
Oh yeah, I remember Pants.
From
well, I wouldn't I wouldn't give that to pants. No.
Yeah.
He's just a creepazoid. He's like someone who a fly would land on their eye and they wouldn't notice.
100%. He'd lick it.
Yeah.
The eye.
And he's reintroducing himself to Jack Deth because he's like, oh, you didn't actually kill me on Quasar 3, the mooned planet or the ringed planet. You want to see a ring? He pulls down his pants and shows his butthole. And after that, he says like, oh, and I know these past 12 years, you've been hunting my disciples like dogs. And I wanted to say, hunt my disciples like Helen.
Jesus.
Because it's Helen Hunt.
Is it Helen Hunt?
Short for Helena Della Bottom Carter Huntington Bank. And I was wondering because... So we find out that Whistler went down the line, killed one of the relatives, and they say, oh, all of a sudden in our present day, he just evaporated. He just burst into like white. And I was thinking, what if that's what spontaneous combustion is? People, going down the line and killing us.
It could be, yeah. I mean, definitely can be. No one knows how it happens.
Because also, this is kind of a mind fuck because if someone were to die before in this timeline, literally every instance of like it would create an infinite loop of new timelines of where that person dies 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and so on. So like every instance, like as a kid, if you knew this person, you could have seen them engulf in flames. Like that's in that point in time would happen to you. But also it could happen a second later or a second later or a second later, eventually to the point where you are dead and they are still alive, but they will still, like the second you die, they die as well. Or the second after or the second after that. It would create a mind fuck.
It just wouldn't work.
Yeah, low key would need to say, oh, I gotta zap you with one of these.
God damn it. You're talking about Loki from fucking MCU?
Yeah.
I thought you were just saying low key.
No, dude. What? I like a mid key. I don't want to reach up or reach down to unlock my doors. I also like a mid key song.
Oh, he does this annoying thing too. That at the end of his little speech, he goes, adieu. Adieu.
You love that.
No, I hate it.
You love the French. You love their style of kissing.
Well.
And their style of bread.
And their style of fries.
Uh-huh. And their style of ping pong.
Or their style of karate.
Whoa, I love French karate. So they go into where he's going to be tranced, and he's like, what the fuck is that? And it's Listler's body, because when you are trancing, it makes you go into a coma, pretty much.
It's a trance.
And they found his body because they're like, well, he's currently trancing. We know that. So where's his body? All right, we found it, and we're going to keep it locked in here so when he eventually wakes up, we can arrest him. And Jack Deth says, you got the wrong, I forget what their names are. Trooper?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I was like, I thought they had like a sci-fi name. He's like, you got the wrong trooper for this. I'm like, you need to play this by the book. We got to arrest him. And he's like, hey, if I'm the one doing this, we're playing by my book. And he pulls out his gun and just explodes a man. And the reaction from the other council member was, oh my God, what have you done?
Yeah, he goes, that kind of handling of a firearm will not be tolerated here. After he already killed the man.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do now?
Doesn't matter much now, bitch. And then he's given a watch that is like, it says it's a long second, I think was the name of it.
It's a long second watch.
And when you click a button, it turns 1 second into 10 seconds. And we will get to once he eventually does that.
Oh, God.
So he's brought back. He's there, baby. Back in the 80s. And you see Helen Hunt dressing. Oh, my God. This woman is squeezing the juice, baby.
Squeezing the juice.
I was like, does the weasel call women it like foxy mamas?
The weasel?
You know, Pauly Shore.
I think so. I don't know. I don't know.
Grindage, he calls it.
Grindage.
No, that's food.
Or we can call it a skirt.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Pauly Shore wouldn't say that, but these people will. So he's seeing her dress up and he's like acting different because he's like, oh, I'm going to put on this because he's like, I don't know who you are, but I need to act like I do. And she's like, oh, we fucked real good last night.
Did you mean what you said last night?
And oh, how the lovemaking with me was the most ecstasy driven thing you could imagine. Granted, you buffed ecstasy pill. Is that what you boffed it? I think is when you put it in your butt. And you had a good blast, didn't you? And he says, yeah, that thing I said. Yeah. I'm still feeling that X in this body.
Oh, man. So he starts getting dressed.
Yes. He pulls on a trench coat. And then he looks in the mirror and he's like, this isn't going to do. Take some hair balm. And what does he say?
He says, dry hairs for squids.
Yeah, from
what are you
Rocket
doing that
Power.
For? Dry hairs for squid.
For a goddamn rocket power, baby. Dog check chowder.
Dog check chowder.
Dog check chowder. Bam, 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 bam.
There's so many one-liners in this, by the way. It's one of my favorite thing about 80s movies. So many one-liners.
You had to have them because that is something you put in the trailer.
100%.
That's what people wanted. And then she gets to work. Jack brings her. And she works at a mall, like you said, as a Santa's helper.
Santa's helper.
And she is in this mini skirt and like top that looks like Santa print. Like it's very, very sexy. And she's in nylons, pantyhose, and her hair's done up very well. And Jack Deth, hair slicked back with one of these on.
Trench
coat. I keep forgetting what those are called. And I said, Nicole, we have to cosplay as these two. Just think of what I would look like in that red mini. And then Nicole goes, oh yeah, I'd pop that. And she was going to say that collar, but I thought she was going to say that pussy. And I was going to be like, oh, Nicole. And then they start blasting.
Well, yeah. So what's her name? Tina? Helen Hunt's character?
Lena.
Not
Tina.
Lena.
That's Bob. Yeah, because we kept saying Lena Dunham.
Yeah. So Lena is walking to work and she's like, I got to get to work. Well, am I going to see you again? No. Why not? I don't even know who the fuck you are.
Did I give you my phone number? No.
Thank
Good.
God. She fucking murders him.
That could have been in the trailer too.
So he goes to talk to her at her job, and then as he's talking to her, she's like, leave me alone, I'm at work. You know, turns out
Santa's a Trancer. And he pulls off his beard and his hat and he's like, but there was a kid.
He throws a kid too, like 50 feet.
And I was like, the kid screaming, he's not magic, he's a Trancer.
And then Mrs. Claus gets on the radio and says, we've got trouble in the North Pole.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And everyone's flooding. And then like Jack Deth starts shooting this Santa Claus guy because he's a Trancer. And the kid says, Mommy, that man shot Santa Claus. But said it like an adult would say it. He said Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
And then they book it, and then they're driving, and his acting while driving, like on the steering wheel, is so bad. At one point, he's doing like two hands right together, motioning it a full like 70 degrees and back.
Yeah, like if he was
the car
really,
would flip.
100%. Yeah, no, that's one thing I love about those older movies. It's like when they put the green screen behind them and they just move the steering wheel, like if that's what you do to drive.
And I think that's what he's like, well, that's how you act while you're driving, but the car is on probably a truck bed being pulled, and he's just like, well, casually talking.
Was it Nicole that said that the actor's never driven before or something?
Oh, in Green Hornet.
Green Hornet. Okay.
No, Tim Thomerson has. Trust me, he's driven. He lived off from a highway by the Mayo Farm.
Okay.
That's in his stand-up that we will eventually get to.
Hell yeah.
It's wild. So then they go to a tanning place. So before Final Destination, and I think after Death Spa, that you're getting people going to be baked alive in one of these tanning beds. But this, like, this is science fiction gold. When he gets thrown into, because the person he's trying to save has already been turned into a Trancer, so they throw him and lock him in a tanning room.
Oh, yeah.
And it's sci-fi, guys.
It looks really nice. I mean, it looks like something you would see in Star Wars, to be quite honest.
Yeah, that or like more mid-70s sci-fi,
so like,
opposed to like Star Wars in the late. Like 2001 A Space Odyssey might have been mid, or maybe not. Maybe even early. Or Alien.
Something you see on Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah, shit like that, dude.
Yeah. He gets stuck in there. Was it Lena comes back? So she leaves. He's like, "You're not my prisoner, but I'd very much like it if you stay here while I go talk to this person." The whole thing happens where he gets locked in the tanning booth, and she comes back in. Turns out this person killed himself as a Trancer. So Lena has to save him, and the very first thing Jack says, "How's my tan?"
So dumb.
So stupid.
You could throw that in the trailer.
They probably tried, and they were like, nah.
For this, I started thinking, like, it would be a matter of time if you found out people were traveling back in time to your area, that having sex with a future person would become a fetish or a kink.
Yeah, I think it would. I think, like, it would have to happen a couple more times, I think.
Yeah. It would be sought after, I feel like.
I mean, but how would you look for it out? Like, how would you look out for it?
I don't know.
Right? Like, if that technology doesn't exist in your time, but somebody comes to your
Oh,
time.
yeah, you can't really. I was going to say you could have a designated area for time. But I think after a while, if people kept coming back in time, you would be like, we need to handle this. We need to set up a designated area that everyone going back needs to say, hey, from now on, we can only teleport to this spot for registration purposes. That seems like something that would happen.
Maybe it could. But I don't know. I don't think it would really be, because then how would you tell, like, if somebody's like, so what is your fetish? And you're like, I like having sex with men from the future.
Or women.
Or women from people from the future.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry. I like having sex with people from the future. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you on about?
But eventually, like, if more and more people, like in that South Park episode, eventually there were a bunch of people from the future. They're like, oh, we know you're from the future. So then what if Kyle's mom was like, oh, not Kyle's mom, Cartman's mom was like, oh, I want to have sex with a future man. She would be able to because she'd know where to go.
I guess, yeah. But it would have to, so yeah, you answered your question. It would have to happen a couple times.
Yeah. And it would also be this romanticized thing. I bet a lot of rom-coms would do this of, he came from the future and just wanted me.
That's the time traveler's wife.
Oh, see? There we go.
Yeah.
Time traveler's knife. Oh, no. He's coming to be a slasher now.
Oh, yeah. And you said tongers or dongers?
Yeah, because they eventually start, like, making out. But before that is when we get our first long second, which is they're cornered and Whistler's like, I'm going to shoot you. And he's like, oh, shoot. You hear the gunshot go off and he's like, well, I should probably click my little watch. And then we get the longest long second in the world. It's probably a full minute of time that he's doing all this bullshit. But we looked it up. A gun is shot and then he clicks the button. What, 1,500 feet per second. So even a tenth of that is still 150 feet per second. That's still going to do damage if it hits you at that speed. But also, it's still going so fast.
Yeah, and they weren't even standing super far from each other.
Yeah, think of someone throwing a baseball, like someone with a fastball. You can still see that go, and that's only 90 miles per hour.
Yeah, but that's miles, not feet.
No, that's what I'm saying. You can. It's like, oh wow, that's fast.
Yeah.
But imagine, like that's
but
only.
Then, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, that's fast for us, and we can can perceive it.
Uh-huh.
A bullet, you can't.
Yeah, and
moving way
it's
too
just
fast.
So that would be, cut that in half. That's 9 miles per hour. Well, you can run 9 miles per hour. You can't run 91 miles per hour, and you can't run 150 feet per second. That's like you're breaking down the miles, like the length and the time period. It's miles per hour. This is feet per second. That's so fast. Jack Deth, Helen Hunt is dead.
They're both dead.
Oh, but then I said, having sex with future people, they do that long second and fuck you real hard.
Yeah.
And it would just feel like the best, just like vibrating massage, just going up and down you at like a slowly oscillated pace.
10 seconds is all I need.
Oh, baby. And 1 second, because I'm the slow one, is all I need to come.
Toggers are doggers.
Yeah, they started making out, and I was like, we better see titties or we better see a dick.
I also have a note because there was a moment in this where everybody was like, it started with James going, "It's a goddamn Christmas movie," and then Nicole going, "It's a goddamn Christmas movie," and I said the same thing, but my note goes, "It's a goddamn Chrysler movie."
Did that autocorrect?
Yeah.
Okay. Why are you saying Chrysler so many times?
Because I don't say Merry Christmas, I say Merry Chrysler.
Oh, you actually... Okay, all right.
As a joke, from the Vine.
I really love it during this time, which is crazy that like the science fiction writers saw it happen. A lot of sci-fi at this time, the future is all vegetarian. It happens in... The same setup and joke happens in He-Man, Masters of the Universe. Someone is like eating something and they're like, this is so good. And they're like, oh, let me have that. They're like, this is pretty good. And they're like, what is this? And he goes, oh, that's cow or chicken. And they're like, wait, the animal? And he's like, yeah, it's legal back. Like, or not it's legal. It's plentiful now.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize that like Jack was at first like wouldn't cross my mind that they didn't eat meat, I guess, in the future. But I guess they're like they're probably so far spread out because it's in space.
Well, he's on Earth.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it takes place in the future where they're able to space travel.
But they must have some because there was lard.
Yes.
So this movie
maybe he's vegetarian.
No. He said, "Oh, you have this here." Like he was like he's like, "Wait, burger made of a cow? Holy shit." And then he eats it. Yeah. So he's not vegetarian.
So he's not vegetarian. It's just, that is weird. Yeah, no, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Same thing in He-Man. And then when they're making out, I wish he had said like, hey, my hair ain't dry. She's no squid. And he's like, no, you're not sweaty. Your hair's fine. And she says, not talking about that hair. And he's like, oh my God, you have pubes back now. We've evolved past of it because of, underwear. That keeps us warm. Well, if you could choose not to have pubes, would you?
Yes.
Hell yeah, dude. Because I get so much hair in my mouth. Because I self-suck, baby.
God damn it.
I should get in here. No, because I pull it out. And it's everywhere. That's the truth. But then McNulty comes back.
McNulty?
But his only relative down the line at this time was like a 12-year-old girl. Remember this girl for Trancers 2.
I don't get why he wouldn't just pick one of the parents.
It might be a split. It might be she ends up marrying someone else who is more of a direct line.
Okay.
It could be some bullshit like that. I don't know. Or maybe the parents, oh no, because he had to sneak past the parents. I was like, maybe they were out of town. The logic there, again, is a little screwy, but...
It was for a movie.
Yeah, screwy movie. But she comes in and she's like, Jack, what the fuck? What are you doing? Oh, actually, Jack says the only F word in this. He says, what the fuck is this? And it's this child is acting like a man in her 40s, acting like a 1940s noir movie. Yeah. She's like, oh, you got to come back up the line. They're pissed at you. They want to change this, that. And then looks over at Helen Hunt and goes, who's the skirt?
Say, who's the skirt?
Man, if any of my nieces talked and acted like this, I'm like, I might have to move back to Muskegon.
And one of my favorite lines comes up right after the "Who's the skirt?" It's after he's like, "I'm not going back. Like, you asked me to do this. This is my job." And he's like, "I'll bust." McNulty tells him, "I'll bust you to zero, trooper."
Hell yeah.
Which makes no sense.
I'll bust you to zero. Maybe like 0 hit points.
Maybe.
I'll bust you to 0. Oh, like how many chances you have or continues.
Oh, maybe, yeah. To be fair, he quit and they came to find him.
Yeah.
So who's really on their last chance here?
And my next no is like they then find the baseball man, and that's the slowest part of this 70-minute movie. So they find him. He's with other houseless people. They take him back. They're showering him because he stinks. Jack calls Listler and is like, "Hey, I'm going to give myself up as long as you can take the councilmen as long as you leave me alone with my woman." And Helen Hunt's like, "No, don't." And then he hangs up and she's like, how are you able to murder this man? He's innocent. And he's like, "You played it right, doll. Exactly how I needed it." And she's like, "Oh, you were playing a trick on me." And he says, "Of course, I'm a cop." But he should have added, "We love playing tricks." And it's like, no, they don't.
Because, cops are notoriously for
Their sense of humor.
tricking people,
Yeah.
It's a setup. It was a setup.
And then it flash forward, like Helen Hunt gets kidnapped or like hostaged. Jack Deth is trying to like shoot him. They're on a rooftop and he's like, "You'll never be able to reach her." And he throws her off the building. Whistler does.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh shit, now time for a long second." He clicks his watch and then he takes off his belt. And it looked like he was going to like she's been falling, guys. Even in slow motion, she's falling, and it's a short belt. We all thought he was gonna like try and whip it around her and like so she can grab onto it, and then he can pull her up. But no, there's a like line that he uses it as like a what do you call a zip line?
Zip line, yeah. So it's the electrical wire. He like throws his belt over and slides down to catch Helen.
And does it perfectly. And I said, imagine if your man did this, caught you from the building top. Like you fell and he ran so fast that he was able to go down on the bottom and still be able to catch you perfectly.
It's a long drop.
And that's my last note.
After curing Whistler's ancestor, he asks Hap Ashley, like, "Who's that man? Who is he?" And Hap goes, "Him? A fortune teller."
Oh.
Oh, man.
And then, like, they, I think, kiss, and we screen grab? No. We freeze frame on coming from the shadows, McNulty as a child, and just gives, like, "Oh, that Jack."
That Jack. Oh, it was also kind of like a creepy, like, he thinks he's got away.
But we'll find out what happens to Jack Deth next episode for Trancers 2.
I really hope Helen Hunt is still a part of this later on.
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
She's fully in the second one, if I remember correctly, and she makes an appearance in the third one.
Okay, hell yeah.
Because by then I think Twister, hey little kitten, Butter.
Scared the shit out of me too. I'm not
How
gonna lie.
are you? Well, I knew it was one of them. I knew it wasn't Ring Girl anymore. Oh, well, you would be a little cutie Sadako, though. Bubsy. Oh, Butter is in the room looking at like the day we first met because she would sleep in here to get her acclimated to the apartment. So I would leave these lights on so like she would be able to see what she's doing. So I slept in here with her for like the first week and it was the same lighting. She's so cute.
Love you, Butter.
Bubsy. Well, what would you give this out of 5?
Out of 5, honestly, it's a tight 3.
What? It's
For
not
me.
a tight 5?
No, yeah, it's not the greatest movie, but I really enjoyed it.
You want to know what? If I take my love of this franchise, I will give it a 4.5 just because of that section that drags on of them trying to find Ashby.
Yeah, that it goes on for a little too long.
Mm-hmm.
But I get they're trying to stretch the movie out a little bit.
Because it's a 75-minute movie and it has maybe 8 minutes of credits total.
Yeah.
But oh man, I'm excited for the next one.
Me
Next
too.
step, baby.
More edibles.
Do you have anything to plug?
I do not. I have Hit It and Crit It. We have our podcast, which we are going to be recording soon.
Mm-hmm.
We have our Instagram, which is hit_it_crit it, and then our Twitter is hit it and crit it, no ampersand, no underscore.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hey guys, listen to my music under Marshland Monster. Hey, if you're a new listener, you're like, hey, I love Trancers. I'm going to check this out. Thank you so much for listening. Rate and review. It means the world if you do. But listen to my music under Marshland Monster. Have a new EP with MC Deep with a bunch of like house, electric, and jungle drum and bass stuff to it.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that. And then in October 15th, Anal Dentata, the single, the 11-track single, because it has just a bunch of remixes and redos of the song. It's like an old dance single. I'm very excited for it. And listen to my other podcast, like Mostly Speaking Sentai with Nicole and I, discussing the world of Super Sentai and adjacent things like Spider-Man from 1978, Toei's style. And The Height of Horror, that's where Presley and I were going through year by year trying to find the best or the worst year in horror. We got through 1991. We did 12 movies from that. We're currently, 1998. And now we're currently on 1991. We're a few movies into that. I think it's around 15 this season. So that's going to be fun. Sweet Child of Time, where Steve Barnes and I are going through all the Wheel of Time series. Hit It and Crit It, and Formulaic, a podcast and script writing where my friend R2 Shelby2 and I, we take a formulaic show, break that down into a Mad Lib outline, then we write a full script within an hour. And head over to patreon.com/MLM pod, where for $5 a month, you get exclusive content every single Friday. And if you're a $10 patron, you get all that weekly stuff plus monthly bonus content in the form of straight to Patreon right now. We've done a lot of great movies in these veins, like the aforementioned Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go to College. We will have done Body Melt recently. It's a great time. Vampiro, Warrior of the Night. It's a luchador movie that stars Vampiro. It's so bad. In the way you want it to be bad. Vampiro does not know how to act, but boy, oh boy, does he know how to commentate. That's for real. He's so good in Lucha Underground. And you get shout-outs on every single free feed podcast, so let's begin with those, starting with Steve Eth, Eric Berry of Ranger Command Power Hour, Alex Z, The Waz, Orion, former rapper Defo, Jordan B, The Chaos Witch, My Bickle, Brother in Common Law, Joshua, Jake, Steve Barnes, aforementioned, A Sweet Child of Time, listen to his music under Intro Void, The Womb in Which I Emerged, My Mother, Lil Corey's BFF, and now former roommate, but only because they moved out, it's Shane, That Fed, twitch.tv/Corwinning. It's Corwin of This Movie's Gay. Listen to that show, The Backlog. And finally, R2 Shelby2 of The Rom Complex and Formulaic and of twitch.tv/R2 Shelby2. I've been James.
I'm Jose.
And we're saying guns held high. Death to Squids. Yeah. But it's a sci-fi gun. It's a laser beam.
Hey, well, be careful, guys.
Maybe the laser beam only affects Trancers.
Hey, maybe.
So hey, we shot someone and they dead. Well, guess what? They were already dead to begin with.
They were Trancers, baby.
We call it. We're not troopers. Call us goddamn morticians.
We're the Death Squad.
DETH. Also, there's comic books of this, and there, at least the series I've gotten, it's bad. Don't pick up the newest series. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, yeah.